Look, detectives combing through the hood looking for a corpse. Draco hitting. I don't think your body can endure the force. I whipped the fish up with a fucking hanger or a fork. Told that bitch, go ahead, sniff what you want. There's plenty more to snort. I had an outstanding warrant for a short. Turned myself in, rocking Louis and all my jewelry. I wore the court.
Ladies and gentlemen, goons and wenches, tonight we got a special guest, John W. Torres. How we doing, buddy? Episode 92. How are you feeling?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm cracking. We're episode 92. Here we go. So why don't we start off? I mean, I noticed you were a fellow Marine. What's
Yep.
happening? How did we go that route, man? You had any mentors or anyone pushed you that way? Or is it just something you always,
My whole family was Air Force, so I just wanted to do something different, really. But
Gotcha. So naturally
yeah.
you wanted to one up everybody, right?
Exactly.
Gotcha. So okay, so Paris Island guy, where you from?
I'm from Washington. We'll live it all over, like I said. So Air Force moved all over, but I enlisted from Spokane, Washington.
Okay, so you were West Coast.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha. So you're gonna tell me about all the hills and.
And I didn't do the Crucible because Camp Pendleton was on fire when I was in boot camp. So
Are you serious?
We skipped it.
Lucky.
Yeah. So it's
Nice.
like whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now after boot camp, banged out SOI, and you went to 3-5 right off the jump.
Yep. Right away.
Okay.
So,
Did they greet you with open arms and
well,
kisses, or how'd that go?
We got dropped before they got back from Iraq. They were coming home from Fallujah for their second time in a row. So we got to do a lot of crazy stuff just as boots. I thought it was awesome being dropped with no one there. And then as soon as they got back, it was just like, oh, God damn it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now, did you run into Tom out there when you were with 3-5, or?
He came for my second tour. So after we got back from the MEU, he got dropped to the platoons, and I was in Kilo Company with him.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
I was over there in that same time when you guys were over there.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah, it was right in Lashkar Gah area.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, was it you guys the word we got from on the ground when we were out there was you guys became combat ineffective because of the amount of double amps you got over there?
Man, at one point I remember talking about sending us to Korea or something like that. And I was just like, that's insane, like taking the whole battalion out. But yeah, it was pretty intense the first few months, So
what was it like? Talk me through it, man. So this was your first time in Afghan.
Yeah, so I went on the MEU for my first deployment, that was a great time. Got to go 31st MEU, 31st, but I thought it was pretty good. Australia was fun.
Yeah.
So I got 3 good years of training, like Bridgeports, CACs, all kinds of things, but all that just went right out the fucking window as soon as we got to Sangin. So
did anything that you got trained with really transfer over into something you used in Sangin, or was it all just stuff on the ground that you learned on the go? Because just to give you an example,
I mean, everything that I learned for 3 years, even going to like jungle warfare and mountain warfare training and all that, everything, we didn't practice ranger file and any of that. We'd always do any kind of different style
custom, depending on where you were.
Yeah, but as soon as we got to Sangin, it was just like, you're forced. This is not an option, So learning how to adjust to ranger file with, we went out with like 30 guys at least on a patrol, or at least, at the beginning. Wow. It used to be like the very first patrol we went on was with Tom's platoon and my platoon, and that was just a heck of a day to begin with. And that's just how it began. And, I got buddies who were in 1-9. Shit, if I get that wrong, I don't know. But saying, or maybe it was 1-8, that when they went there, they only had guys going out with 8-man squads. And that blows my mind. So it's like things like wild. That where, and going to Sangin when I first got there, it was just, it all went out the window. But I mean, there were some things.
Talk to me about Sangin, man. Are we dealing with like just open field, poppy fields type bodies, or are you talking like mud huts? We
had a little bit of everything. We were like in the northern area of the green zone. We were like PB transformer, fob Increment and and PV Fires. That's like where we started. That's where Tom and I's platoon started when we first got there. And I mean, that was in the green zones where no shit, like I call it like times of Jesus, like everybody's mud huts, you know how they were. And
times of Jesus.
yeah, I mean, Donkey was in the house with the family. And that was kind of interesting because we were there at the beginning, or I guess at the end of summer. We got there, I think it's late September or October. So there wasn't really anything. It was still green, but it wasn't. I mean, I guess I should take that back because there's some of the cornfields all around, and then there's a bunch of canals and open fields. So it's very different than, CQB and whatnot.
Yeah, of course.
That kind of
night and day.
So, yeah. And then you have the IEDs. Like I thought of it like a game of Minesweeper, where just one blows up.
Dude, honestly, we did significant IED training at CAX and a couple other places, but it wasn't anything from what we saw when we were over there, dude. They got, I don't know, I'm sure you dealt with it as well, but the Taliban section that we were fighting, man, they adapted so well to our TTPs and SOPs. Like we literally had to just adjust to them. I mean, they started figuring out the way we kicked indoors and did stuff when we were trying to raid buildings in our area. And they would literally mount it on the doors or put it down on the ground and make them pressure plates are triggered from us opening the door. They got very intuitive, and it really made it so we had to be on the balls of our feet at all times, and really situational awareness is imperative over there.
Yeah. I mean, we started out going through corn. We were finding them in the corn husks, and then we started going
in the corn husks. Stop it.
No, I'm swear to God.
Oh my God.
And then that's why we started taking the canals, because any like bridge or any crossing, any easiest path resistance, is going to have something. So we started going the canals, but then they started laying IEDs in the treetops, stringing them, and then like Abate almost got killed one time with his section of snipers going out early one morning, and they were going through the canals to go set up, and they hit some sort of string, and it, I mean, low order dead, but yeah, pretty nuts.
You knew Abate?
Yeah.
So that's why this really means something to you, huh?
Oh yeah, well yeah, all this, I mean, I met him on my very first, like time in getting a 3.5 and whatnot. And
talk to me about him.
Just one of the greatest human beings you could ever
really
meet. Well, yeah, okay, like so imagine, during our time of being boots in that 07 to I'd say the surge time frame, right? I mean, it was lawlessness, and you had just a bunch of criminals running like a section. It was just Lord of the Flies, right? So you had guys that like just wanted to, be the most powerful, have a big dick, whatnot, and just you respect me no matter what, right? Abate was the complete opposite of that, right? And he got all this done, and he was the best you could be at everything.
Really?
And he was a great. He would talk to you no matter what your job was, what your rank was. Like you were just another
that the way that, like, when people acted like that around him, he thought it was corny type deal. Like didn't really like take that serious.
No, he was like legit. It wasn't fake, like
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it wasn't like a fakeness. It was just 100%. And like you could just feel it. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it. And that's the person he was. So luckily he got attached to us for Kilo Company for being our, sniper section. So he had a bunch of other guys with him, a bunch of my good buddies. And so he did all of CAX, all the work up with us. And then when we went to Sangin, obviously he rotated throughout where, each platoon was, but he stayed a lot down at Fires and Increment because it's a little bit more kinetic down there as the end, well, in the beginning. But yeah, like a lot of good times, even, on Libo in different countries. I have a lot of good memories of seeing him out, and so
gotcha.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, it's gotta make you just feel a certain way of, being part of PB Abate, out in Montana right now, man. I mean, knowing him, I mean, I'm sure, I mean, I don't want to speed through your deployment because I want to hear a little bit more about that, but we can tie back into it. But so, all right. So talk to me about who did you rip with?
1.5. Yeah. Actually, he's one of my drill instructors when I swear to God, it's so crazy. Yeah.
That's funny.
1.5 came and ripped with us, and then, yeah.
So, okay. So talk to me about like mid deployment when you guys are really just locked in. You're getting to know everything in the area. You may have had a couple skirmishes with the Taliban. Where's your head at, man?
So mid deployment, that's when we were starting to Well, it's funny because like the beginning of deployment, the first 3 months were the most kinetic.
Oh, they were.
Oh my God! Like I think the battalion was in over 100 firefights in the first 3 weeks.
Holy shit!
I mean, that's when we took our mass cas. The day Bate got his Navy Cross was the day that my platoon took a mass cas, and we lost 2 SAW gunners, a squad leader, and a corpsman.
2 SAW gunners. Holy shit! Mm-hmm. All IEDs.
That's interesting, but yes, I might have. I could tell you the story. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how many people know this, and I don't know if I'm opening a bag of worms, but it's very controversial. I mean, well, yeah, maybe probably about time. Yeah, I got a buddy that one of my buddies saws straight, right? My other buddy saw was a noodle.
What?
Both hit IEDs, right? And this is our very first, I'd say, week or second week we're there in Sangin at fires, and the whole firefight began where one of our squads started calling in on the radio that ceased mortars because they were in a firefight with the Taliban, and we radioed back, we're not firing mortars, and some things kind of happened where I don't know if it was blue on blue.
I knew you were gonna go there. Fuck.
Yeah, so that's why it's like that's where
I got you. It involves that happened a few times with us too, dude. Yeah, man, it's tricky.
It's one of those things where but it's all that same day where Bonte got his Navy Cross.
So fucking chaos.
Yeah, it's insane. It's combat. You can't, and that's how it goes, and that's why like I've made peace with it as far as how much that goes on all the time.
No.
And so it's not a perfect world, but yeah. So that's how that went, and that just continued for up until Thanksgiving, pretty much, when my lieutenant got killed, and then first.
Did you know Captain Byler? No.
You know what?
I wasn't sure who he was with, but he was with 3-5. I don't know who exactly he was with though, but not to interrupt you. But so
no.
When how did you react in when I say chaos, for everyone that's listening that don't really know what we're talking about, when rounds start cracking off, IDs start popping, it's almost like a surreal first 5 minutes. You're kind of just locked in this slow-mo, holy fuck, what is going on? And you kind of make a cognizant decision to be like, I at least for me, I was like, dude, I don't think I'm gonna fucking make it out of here. And you kind of just lock in and you say fuck it and you push. Is that something that you felt when you were over there, man?
Yeah, man. So I was an 11 by my MOS, but then I got sent to be an RO. So I was the RO for this deployment.
Okay.
Our very first firefight was with Tom's platoon once again, and we started taking rounds in the corn, so we just kind of took a knee, and then I just went, no, just more deflate, right? Like, is that right? Yeah, whatever. It's been so long, but it kind of just more reminds you of pulling the pits at first, and like, okay, well, we know that's but they're high. Well, then it started picking up, and then I got called to go over to my platoon sergeant, which was a good distance, and we were in like some shitty mud and thick stuff. Well, once I got to him, which was only maybe 20 yards, it really started picking up and rounds started hitting the wall. Well, I was starting to call my paws over. I started throwing up, like just bile. So like that was, here we are. I mean, we landing, we took rounds and like coming down and stuff. And I just remember seeing my gunny like getting into like the increment. I'm sorry, like I kind of like went back, but like, so I understood what taking rounds was, but this in that time frame, I was like, holy shit. So my body and then I was just like locked in. I was just trying to hurry up and get through the puking of like getting this shit up so I could get my fucking paws over, and so that was where it's like, okay, it's game time, and then like you just go, you move, and I just always kept, you move, if you stop, you die,
Yeah. Yep.
And just like,
did you unfortunately did you see any boys freeze up out there and something like that? Not you don't have to name them or anything. I've just been in a couple of positions where I've been in a firefight and I saw someone like on a cruiser freeze up when he needed to take a shot, it's just you really don't know how you're going to react till you're there, man.
Yeah, I saw multiple people do it, and it's like you can't blame them.
Oh, no.
You can't control it, just like the same way I couldn't control my puking. But at that time, it's just like, I remember pushing this one EOD, like gunnery sergeant. We were going through this opening and we're taking rounds. And I mean, by no means was I ever like in the front of a run. I would always fall out. Like, that ain't me, man. But like in combat, it was me. Like I could go, I just like pack mule. But this guy, he just like had given up and just like wanted to walk. Like, no, stop.
Overwhelmed.
Like, yeah, just keep going. Like just have this 100 meters in your head. Like, give it
I'm sure
all
you
you can.
didn't even have the option to freeze up and something like that. You freeze up, you're dead, man.
Oh fuck! And I think that's where maybe my 3 years of training did come in, where and me being an RO, I had the ability to be in an internal element of
Explain to the everyone that's listening what an RO is, please.
Radio operator. So being there, I'd always be in the center with the headquarters element, corpsman, platoon sergeant, or the platoon commander, or the squad leader at the time. And so I always got to kind of have ears and eyes, and I heard a lot of shit going on before it happened, as far as like they can see us, what's coming in, the birds, all this other shit. So I had the opportunity to actually kind of, I don't know, adjust myself and not, unfortunately, like, I think sweepers and point men got the biggest balls in the fucking world.
Oh, of course.
And I just like, even then I still think about like, just I'll throw up like, not, I mean, I won't, but it's just like to just openly go out there in the open and just fucking head down. No fucking way, just insane to me. But so that's why I think for me, the freezing up really didn't happen, because I was able to like kind of process it a little bit easier. And then, but it did suck sometimes knowing like, okay, the Taliban see you, they're going to ambush you. Sometimes I'd rather just fucking ambush us, so that way I can just react with everybody else and not be like, fuck, it's coming.
That's the worst feeling, dude. Like, the first time I was like, we took 2 IEDs and then it just opened up and it's an insane feeling, because you realize you're being hunted and you're walking into something and it just closes in on you. Honestly, dude, being an RO and something like that is so pivotal. Because once comm drops out, man, it's absolute chaos. I mean, you can't control anything.
And like I never lost comm once, and like I always prided myself, never, man, and like I prided myself on it, and I took that shit serious, and I had all my good, like my ZMIS, everything. I had my whole platoon's shit memorized, so I didn't have to sit there. I did do my very first time. I did my corpsman's, ZMIS, and I still have my little notebook. But after that, I just kind of it just turned into, okay, we just got to go, and I'm proud of that, and at least because I mean, shit. Well, you're in their backyard.
That's the hardest part, dude. I mean, we're the away team and something like that. You know what I'm saying? We're walking into their fucking hood. You know what I'm saying? So they know where to bang it out with us. They know where they can squeeze us, and it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
But so towards the end, what's going on, man? Is it quiet out there, or
Yeah, it quieted down. I mean, we got like our replacements coming in, and we had reservists, or not reservists, but replacements, and I guess some reservists came into certain sections of the AO. Like 325 when helped down at fires and increment, and my platoon stayed mostly up at PB Transformer, because we were only down to 2 squads after the first month, pretty much. So it kind of
what's that like to be in an element that you got serious casualties, and you're still trying to remain aggressive, and it's still kinetic. How do you keep yourself in, just because think about it, guys, when you're taking a loss in something like this, these are your boys, these are the guys that you train with. It's not easy to keep in a positive mindset and stay aggressive, and be able to just every day get out there and bang it out with them, because
100%.
Talk to me about that.
We lost our platoon commander. We lost 2 of our like best saw gunners, are our boys. We lost 2 of our corpsmen right away, and then like one of my buddies called his own death and literally died. Just he changed his plate carrier to his MTV, because we had the MTVs as well. He changed it out. I mean, I know that's people always talk about you don't do that, but from day one he like was saying he's not going to make it, and literally fucking got shot through the armpit. And it's things like that where we were demoralized. And
that's the word I was looking for. That's the word I was looking for.
Well, my platoon commander got killed on Thanksgiving, and there's like this huge thing about the Battle of Thanksgiving and all this stuff, right? And Being West wrote a book on it. All these other people talk about it, and that's my platoon, and it's like that was one of the most demoralizing times for us, because we were so. Our QRF that we had was only, I think, 6 or maybe 8 guys, and they got pinned down on the rooftop immediately. And so there's myself and a few other guys that were left. I was so sick that I was getting shots of Finagrin, I believe.
Yep.
Because I had VG, and just to be able to sleep without, because every time I rolled over, anything, I was puking and shitting out both ends. So, and that was a really hard time for me personally, just because my lieutenant just got killed, and
course.
First time
How are you keeping it? How are you
from,
keeping it together in something like that, bro? Is it just pure motivation to get the fuck home, or are
yeah.
you more so thinking of like, hey, they fucking took out my boys. I'm gonna go out there and get the fucking scalp.
That's what happened, because like that's the Battle of Thanksgiving, where it was just a few of us on the roof, and then first platoon, third platoon pushed us, and then or maybe it was first platoon. I can't remember all the details
No,
exactly
it's all
anymore.
good, dude.
I think it's third platoon pushed to us, pretty sure. And I mean, it was just fuck. I remember Cobra sitting above us in Transformer and just like sitting there and just shooting fucking rockets into the tree line, and it was just nuts. And yeah, and just they wouldn't tell us who got shot at first, right? And we had to wait to see how they came through carrying them in this field that was like 400 meters long, and we called it no man's land. And they were carrying him through, and I could tell it was my lieutenant, because I mean I fucking went everywhere with this guy, for a good year pretty much. It's just me and him. And the one time I didn't go with him, he gets killed, and that really fucked me up for a long time.
Of course it did. I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's okay. I had a buddy that was part of PSD and thought as soon as he heard 2 actual got killed, I was dead as well, because of how close. I mean, I wasn't really good at that.
So you
whole
were usually
excursion.
on them like that?
Oh man, and that's how it was though, because I mean, yeah, running and
Situation
bounding, sure,
situation dictates, bro. You
but
don't have to explain that
yeah,
shit.
yeah. But he got shot by a machine gun, so
Fuck.
beating pattern of that cone. So it's just like things like that where it sucks a lot. And then, but this is after having our mass CAS, losing squad leader. I mean, we had squad leaders get replaced because it fucked them up too soon, and they weren't pushing far enough like they wanted. And seeing that kind of stuff happen, right? And I
It
mean,
got real, huh?
well, shit. I mean, in the beginning, you couldn't go more than like 300 yards outside the wire without getting fucked up, and that's where the majority of everybody's getting killed in the beginning.
What's the situation for call for fire, bro? You able to get HIMARS or no?
After 15 minutes of being in contact. But I mean, you look at Ukraine; those motherfuckers just launch it for nothing.
Right?
I wish we could. But
that's what I was just thinking, dude. You've been watching that shit
15
too?
minutes of contact is a fucking goddamn forever.
That's a year, bro. That's a long time.
Yeah. So
I don't think people understand
I mean,
that, dude. That how time slows down and shit like that, dude.
No, I mean, we had HIMARS and stuff, but they were not just like at the ready. I mean,
yeah, I get you. I hear you.
That's coming up from the company, the CO or whoever's in the office calling that.
It's gonna get up and passed down and approved.
Yeah, like
while
we had artillery, but we usually used the 60s and 81s, but the 60s would stay back at the FOB or the PB, and in the beginning they saved us a lot and did a lot of good shit. And then combat, once again, we had a lot of close calls about them getting dropped too close, but it was just such a weird environment that sometimes it wasn't the best to use that.
Of course.
But I mean, they rocked it.
Looking back at it now, man, what do you think was like the most important thing over there, just to be cognizant of? What would you say?
Where you stepped.
That's real.
Yeah.
It's a stress. Think about this, guys. A couple of your boys get hit. You're getting attacked every other day. You don't even know where the fuck to step. Think about it. Every step you're thinking about how your boy's got his leg blown off just the other day in the same situation. So you're so unsure of yourself.
That's why
I keep asking, dude. How do you keep that motivation? Or you don't even have the option to not be motivated. It's, you just got to push. I hear you.
No, it was getting home, dude. But I remember this time I took a shit. Me and my buddy, we had to sit out and do security on this building we're taking over, and we couldn't no one really cleared it for us. We just jumped in and stayed there. Well, it's been 8 hours, and I got a shit, and I'm not jumping over these berms.
Fuck that.
So I'm just I'm sorry, Crossway. I'm shitting in here, man. And so I shit.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. This is happening. I took my fucking my cleaning rag, picked it up, chucked it as far as I could out of the hole, and that was that.
Nice.
But I mean, that's how unsure you were of where to step, even though it's probably safe. It's just right. So
okay, man. I can only imagine, because I had my shit that I dealt with, but coming back from something like that, it's such a surreal experience. And I'm kind of talking about my own, but I had never been through something kinetic before like I had went through. So when you come home, it's just at first you don't even how am I here? Talk to me about it, man. Did you have a rough time, or how'd you deal with it?
I had 3 months when we got home, and then I got out. And during that time, I went to a recruiting fair on Main Side after TAPS, and I got recruited by the federal government and went to work right away.
Oh, so it was kind of like a good transition for you then.
I got kicked, well, I got kicked out of my first round of taps.
You got kicked out?
I slept in because I slept in and missed it. And then I had to go see my sergeant major and whatnot. But I was able to tell him, I had gone to this job fair and gotten this what I had gotten. And I got an offer. And he's like, well, good, all this shit. So I didn't get in trouble too much. Yeah. So after that, I got recruited and I went to work in Seattle, Washington.
What, if you don't, can you talk about it or?
Just a defense. So I was a quality assurance specialist for a defense contract management agency. Okay. So it's the all-seeing agency that for contracts that buys acquisitions of anything for the American military government.
That must have been kind of cool to be able to see that.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I got to go to so much schooling and stuff for 3 years, and I covered everything from clothing and textile to spacecraft.
Wow.
So like I got to see a lot of cool shit.
That's badass. Yeah. So when did it come about? When did the PB Abate thing come about, man?
That came about a good click after. So basically, when I got out, I started spiraling down about 3 years into that government gig, right? And I knew that I needed to address this because I got a DUI. I did that whole spiel. I got lucky. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't do anything, just a stupid fucking mistake. And I was like, you're too old for this and you need to address what this is. Yep. And so I resigned my position so I didn't get put on an IPP, and I still have my GS11, rating and all that good stuff. But and luckily my boss was a major in the Army. And he had seen he's like, you were a kid, you need to go and be a kid. He's like, you haven't adjusted yet, and you need to take that time, and you need to fix yourself. And I took that to heart. And so I resigned and I went back home, and I had to wait for a while, but I got put into a PTSD program through the Boise VA, right?
Not to interrupt you, but was it hard for you to I don't know, that what I'm seeing here is the op tempo is so high, especially for you guys, you really don't have time to look at yourself, to realize, hey, this is what's going on with me.
I was addicted to reading the news articles that I was in about the battalion from the day I got home. So that was my counseling. When we got home to 3-5, sure, they had let's go see the psychs, and they did the studies and goes do the interviews. They're still contacting me right now about going back and doing this study part, right? Yeah, it's they did it before and they've done continuous, but they didn't really address anything. It was just more they're trying to make sure no one killed them fucking selves because of what we just went through. Right? And then boom, I was out, and then I'm working for the federal government, and I'm on my own. I got my dog, I got my pit bull. His name's Achilles. I named him after Abate and whatnot. And then I got my second one, Barcelona, and I did my things to give myself that kind of the numbers that I felt security with them, where even though I was on my own, I knew I had to face this in life, because it's I'm not going back to what we had. Yeah. But no, I didn't have anybody to help me process holy shit, dude, you just went through all this stuff. And within less than a year, I was inspecting blast garments, shorts from a company. And I'm just thinking about my buddies that had lost their fucking legs. So it's just that's when I started having issues, is that I'd be doing these things and I'd go back and I'd start thinking about the shit, and then it affected me, and then I'd drink, Yep. So I just kind of all right, this isn't what I need to be doing. And I knew it wasn't healthy. And, so
that's tough, dude. That's really tough. Yeah, I had difficulties when I went to the VA, dude, because it seemed this was in the 2014, 2015 time range. And this, I'm just talking about the VA by me, but they just didn't understand it, man. The wrong people were in the positions that were important and pivotal to help people like me. And to me, from the outside looking in, I really felt they needed to put guys like us that had been through certain situations, that obviously got through it and figured it out, to help guys that have been through situations like that. Because if I don't think that you're understanding what I'm talking about in something like that, I close up, and I don't want anything to do with it. So that's why I love what you guys are doing at PB Abate, man. I think it's great. Since you've been out there, man, what's something that you've realized are really helping guys like us?
So coming out to my family's ranch, my wife and I moved out here and took it over in 2016, and it's been in my family since 1884. And I knew where I was still living, I'd gone through my program, the PTSD program. I got out of it, did my stuff. I was still I was living in a subdivision. I just couldn't be at peace. I thought everybody was not watching me, but
no, I know exactly what you mean.
This dude doesn't mow his lawn every fucking Thursday. He doesn't have a consistent schedule.
I get exactly what you mean.
So I thought in my life, I'm not living up to what I should. I even go back to like, you know, my parents' house and they live in the subdivision. And I mean, I love being there, but I don't at the same time because I just like where I'm at, I'm out of way and I can have my life, I can breathe. And coming out here, I knew that's what was going to save me because I was still struggling. And that's when I start, even before PB Bate, I started bringing my buddies out from 3-5 that I'd
Oh, wait. So PB, the ranch that you guys use is your family's?
Not this new one. So we bought a new
Oh.
property, but for the first 2 years and like 2.5, where we were doing everything was all at my family's place. And then the organization bought a new property this past January, not this past, well, last year, January, they found a property just like 30 miles from me in Thompson Falls.
Okay.
That we use now because it's got a full facility where it's got, you know, kitchen, we got showers, a bunkhouse, you know, lodge and all this good stuff. Because when we first were doing it at my place, it was just tense. You know, I mean, it's awesome. I love it. Is that austereness that, you know, I felt that it gave you peace. I always did the best in the field. And
Yeah,
I felt like that's when people could just go clear their minds, get away from everything, get back in nature, get back in the field, that have those connections again. That's where like that healing comes from and being around the fire and shit. Like, yeah, because I mean, Tom reached out to me on what 2019, about, you know, trying to find I think he was looking at Custer County over like 9.5 hours away in Montana.
Okay.
And on this one little parcel, I was like, well, fuck, let's just do it at my place for now. Or,
Yeah.
you know, for how long? Like I've got the land and like, this is what I've always wanted to do. Like, this is what I've been doing as far as like bringing guys up here and trying to process things and dig deep and do what we weren't doing. Because I've been through 2 months of intense therapy, you know, and still didn't, I mean, I got some things, but didn't get much. And what I was doing, my buddies like was giving me closure and helped me every time. And I know, and I was doing things for them. So, and I think Tom kind of saw that in my post and whatnot. And so he flew out and we kind of walked around and we did our thing and, you know, had a good time around the fire and good chats and then just pushed for it. And
really, so it just grew from that.
Yeah, man, he did so much work, and I mean, it'd just be getting updates. And he, for the longest time, he was working so hard to get the 501c3 approved, just because COVID was backing everything up so long. But yeah, and the first year, I think it was like 6 retreats. Last year, second year was 8, and then last year was 8. I mean, it's just been getting like bigger and bigger, and how much it's spread and what it's done. I mean, it's been incredible.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what exactly do you do?
So my title's like Camp Commandant, but I do everything from like booking flights to the logistics, be like the logistics coordinator, and I do all the cooking as well. So I'll pick up everybody from the airport, do the caravan up, get all the grocery run, all that stuff. And then I show everybody around because like this is where I'm from. So taking everybody to the spots and doing whatnot, and basically just, you know, the coordinator of that. And then my buddy Kyle, he's runs and lives up there. So he was living with me beforehand because he came to the very first year book club and came from Ohio, drove all the way out here, and then came back the second year as well, and then just never left and just stayed with me for about a good year. Yeah, man, me and him are like best friends, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And so now when we bought, well, when I say we, the organization bought the new property, he was able to go and just be the caretaker up there and runs all that and whatnot.
Okay.
And yeah, it works out really well.
Are you noticing that the guys are getting help, like it's working? That's got to be a great thing to see. I mean,
yeah, because it's not fake. It's the biggest thing about it, I think, is just, well, what's nice is, I don't know, I've never been one to be a big dicker about like, oh, I did this or did that, or like
I
gotta
hate that
blur
shit.
my face
I
out.
understand what
like,
you
don't
mean.
take my picture because I'm special. Like, dude, I'm proud of what the fuck I did.
Blur my face out because I'm special.
You know, right? Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
And it's like, that's what's like, I don't care.
I can't stand that shit. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And but so many people get out and fucking kill themselves, or people who join think that that's what they have to attain and be, or else they're not worthy of something. So it's actually nice to see people who come from every background. Like, I mean, I've met a lot of people who've come from the band, and they're always kind of ashamed to tell me they're in the band at first. I'm like, fuck, that's amazing. You know, like that's like one job in the Marine Corps, that the Marine Corps comes to you to pick you and recruit you.
Yeah.
You know, like they didn't come and say, hey, you want to be a
you notice that's like a stigma that's like that's around this shit right now, that like you're not a real person or a real Marine, or I don't know, man. I feel like people that that and that are just like, oh, so like gung-ho about I don't know. I feel like it's an insecurity they have that they don't feel personally like they've done it the most to be something that they want to be, so they overcompensate and they I don't know if you know what I mean.
I call them like Uncle Ricos, man. You know, that's exactly what they are.
Nail on the head. Perfect.
Yeah.
What?
Uncle Rico.
So,
Tyler
okay.
Satterfield and Napoleon Dynamite.
Perfect.
But it's like, and a lot of people can't let things go. It's like,
I know. You got to get past. Yeah.
100%. Like, that's my biggest gripe to people is like, I always say, like, no one gives a shit about what you did. And like, you've got to move on no matter what you did. It's just a part of life, and take it and close that chapter so you can do all these other things with your life. There's so much more. And I think that's what I've been able to do with myself is I'm, almost, I'd say 90% there. I still have my Marine Corps flag. I still have certain things, right? Like my new puppy, I named her for me. All my dogs are named
brother, let me pause you for 2 seconds. I got to open a new window. I'll hit you right back. We were talking PB Abate, man. So, okay, so you're the camp commandant. Tell me, what's the most you're getting out of it, man? Is it just seeing like-minded people and being able to just familiarize with them and kind of, I mean, I think that's fucking 80% of the battle, dude. Just really like meeting the people, kind of talking shop with them a little bit, and letting them know that, hey, man, I got it too. I'm dealing with this shit too, and this is what I've been through. If there's anything I can do to help you, I'm here. It's really just creating the relationships, and that's what I've seen so far with doing groups and stuff. But I mean, I've only seen what you guys have been doing on social media, dude, and it looks like it's killing it. People are happy out there. They're getting a lot out of it. I can only go ahead.
I get to share with people who come up here everything that I get to do every day and get to see, and then being able to see like the relaxation and then the reconnection that they get with people is wonderful. And like just being able to share that with them and like in my home, like I said, it gives me closure each time someone or people come up. It helps me because I talk about things that I usually don't talk about, right? Like I said, I've tried to close that door in chapter in my life where I get it. We're like old school vets; they just don't talk about it and want to move on, right? And you have to do that at some point. I think when you have kids, you have this, you've got other stresses in your life. You don't need to be constantly fucking never forget. Like that's not fucking fair to you, right? Like I hate that shit. But that's also part of I think the healing, being able to like talk with people and like share like what I've been through, and the steps and like the years and struggles going through the stuff with the VA, trying to get where I'm at now. I love being able to help others like see that they can have it too, or like they deserve it as well. Because a lot of people think that they don't deserve the help or deserve any kind of veteran stuff or any what they're doing there. Coming in, a lot of people told me, "Oh, I didn't think I ever really rated something like this because I, didn't do anything with you." And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just like Tom had always preached, like just your service, and that's the biggest thing. Because when you get out and you're in your community again, it doesn't matter what the fuck you did. What matters is that there's another veteran, and like that common denominator is your service, right? So it's like, let's capitalize on that. Like that's why we all came together in the beginning. So it's like part of PB Abate is how can we continue to serve each other, and then like serving when you're getting back, and like re-engaging. So it's nice to do that. And then I've got to meet over 600 people.
Wow.
I believe that's awesome. Like what we brought through, or they may be a little inflated, who knows, but I think it's roundabout. But and it's just like a wonderful thing. And
so what is it? So like if they come out, they can come back, or anyone can come?
So it's all interest-based clubs. So like we've had book club, fight club, strength club, fly fishing this year. We've got turkey club or hunt club that does a turkey hunt. We are our 4th turkey hunt, hopefully going in April. But I mean, I'm sure there's clubs that I'm missing. We got like dive club, and that takes place in different, obviously not Montana, but it's all interest-based. Like if people could come up with enough interest and want to do it and have a club and have a following, and we can facilitate and we'll put it on, and people just sign up, they go online and join the PB Abate. It's free of cost, and then you have all these drop downs where you can choose, and if you have interest in this club, you can then start engaging. And book club, I think, is by far our biggest club, and it's had a wonderful engagement. We had 30 people this past year come, and that's our biggest number that we've had at one time. And so hopefully it'll just continue, and we'll get, like, I run barbecue club, but it's not more.
What club? Barbecue. That's a good one.
but it ties into me cooking. So I get to bring up help to cook. So we may not have a barbecue club retreat because there's not enough real engagement. Like, so a lot of people come and cook, but I got to fill that in. So I just always pick 2 people and bring them up from there so they can come as well.
That's dope.
And then, but yeah, so once you come, it's free of cost. Everybody just flies in. I'll book the flights, try to get everybody in on one swing. So we just go down, because the PB is about 2.5 hours from Missoula, and that's where everybody flies into.
Okay.
And then,
Damn.
so yeah, we're out here, but that's the beauty of it. So try to get all done one swing and get back up here, and everybody gets in Thursday. Friday's the real first day of everything. Saturday, Sunday, last day, and then Monday everybody flies home. And depending on, it's either real early going to the airport or it's later in the afternoon, depending on the majority of who's going where in the United States. But I think, like, getting back to what people can expect when they come up here, when the engagement of the club, like this year was our very first year of fly fishing, and I've never seen so many people smile. I mean,
Really?
Oh man, I didn't even fish at all, and like it was just the best time sitting and watching. Especially my buddy Andrew that I met. He was first. I met him here, and he was in the band. Real good guy, and seeing him catch all his fish and just like the excitement and joy in his face, like that's what this is like supposed to be about. And also, I don't know, just like these interests and re-engaging with others, where you service is there, but now you also have these outside interests where you can re-engage with each other, and having it happen here is just awesome.
Sweet.
So
That's got to be great for you,
yeah.
man, just to be in a positive environment like that all the time, because it's really just helps you at the end of the day, just seeing everybody, just be happy for a weekend, I can't imagine. That's great.
Yeah, my life's got only better since doing this,
That's dope.
So,
That's dope.
yeah.
I'm happy to hear it. Something that you would say to maybe a vet struggling, or, really anyone just struggling with this shit, man. What some advice you could give them, or, just, I don't know, tell us something.
Everybody's obviously going through it on their own in their own ways, but it's knowing that when we get in these holes, you got to get back out again, right? And that's the biggest thing. That's life. That's how it's going to be. We're going to go through these, ebbs and flows, and knowing when you're in these lows that, yes, it fucking sucks, but it's just like on a hump, one more hill. And it's just knowing to get back to that top of that one more hill. That's what's going to keep you going in life. And I think that's what's helped me, is because I still go through it. I live out in a couple hundred acres. Like, I have a good life. Like, everything is perfect for what I think, but I still have my fucking times, and like when I'm down there, just one more hill and you're going to be back up again. So it's just, that's the biggest thing that's got me through.
So would you say it's just learning to live with it, and building past it and keep pushing?
I know a lot of people hate this, but I used to say this even in Sangin, like, it could always be worse.
It could be. Yeah, no, I hear you. I get you.
And I know people are like, oh, well, a lot of people have it better off and have a better support system and have this and this. And 100% I agree. And like, I've got buddies that are struggling that have no help, and you can only do so much. And we're not all going to be where we were at in the military, and life's not going to ever be how it once was. So you've got to adjust to how it is and how you would like it to be. But I mean, I don't know. That's what's helped me, and never fall in love with a plan. You can build one, you can try to stick to it, but just
always be willing to readjust. I get you.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's the biggest thing I can contribute, and just get outside and find something. And I feel, and service gives you fulfillment. So if you can find a way to serve again in your community or anything, like I found a way to be able to do my passion and hobby of cooking. Now I get to do this on a bigger scale, and then having all these people come up here. So it's like, if you can continue to find a way to serve, it'll give you that fulfillment, and I think that helps people. And I don't know, that's just
well said, brother. I agree with you completely. And I just want to say, dude, fucking great job. It's awesome that you guys are doing this. It's clearly helping. Guys, I've talked to a few people that have been out there, and they fucking love it, and it's really helped them. So I gotta pat you on the back there, man, and just keep plugging, man, because all that we can do is keep talking about this and keep trying to make an impact in this field. Honestly, it feels like it's just starting to turn into something, really. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because we've been chirping about it for a while, and people are starting to realize that these things, this stuff is an issue, and unfortunately, people are taking their lives, and it's a difficult thing because there's no easy solution. You know what I'm saying? And all we can do is just get together, try to somehow smooth out these issues with people, and the best people to do it are guys like us that have been there, and people are realizing it. So hopefully it keeps growing. And I just gotta say, you know, from one vet to another, dude, good on you. You're doing a great job, and you're doing a service to veterans, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And obviously thank Tom for starting all
For
this, you
sure.
know. And
Yep. Yep.
so, and I always thank him because I mean, he's just given us the ability to do this, and what's going on up here is just phenomenal. And you got to come out sometime.
Yeah,
So
I was just gonna say that, dude. I'd love to come out there sometime. If you guys do anything snowboarding related, I'm out there. I'd love to jump on the barbecue crew too. I'm a big fucking
yeah,
grill guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Absolutely.
anybody that comes out and helps me still gets to do everything else that everybody is doing.
Oh,
So I
dude,
don't want
I'm
to
your
think that they're
man,
just
bro.
like going to be in the kitchen on the ship, you know, like,
Hell yeah, I'm all about it.
okay.
I'd love to get out there and do a podcast with you out there in person, dude. That'd be dope. I'd
Yeah, you
love
can
to.
meet Kyle.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Sounds good.
All right.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on here and then telling your story a little bit, man. I know that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
And just stay plugging away, man. You're doing a great job, and you're definitely helping guys. So good on you, bro.
Likewise.
All
Keep
right,
doing what you do, man.
appreciate that. Semper Fi. Hopefully, I get out there soon to see you, man. But until then, episode 92 with John W. Torres in the books. Thank you, Semper Fi, and hoorah.
Later, brother.
It's always awkward at the end because we're like, okay, we done?
Yeah. Yeah.